Hi everybody, it's Honest John. When I was a kid, me and my friends used to play cowboys and Indians and soldier all the time when we weren't playing sports. I probably shot my best friend over 1,000 times in the years that we played together, and got shot a bunch of times too. My favorite TV program was The Untouchables, the most violent program on TV. And I loved war movies, westerns, and horror movies. And so did most of my friends. And I used to read those horror comic books too. And guess what? Despite our violent fantasy lives, we did not become violent maniacs in our real lives. Now, I've watched the debate on gun violence, and I see that there are people who want to turn the debate over to video games and movies. Well, here's the deal. Those violent video games and movies are played all over the world. But they're not having the same problems with violence that we are in countries like Canada, all over Europe, all over Asia. We're the ones having that problems. And there is one difference between our country and those countries. And that is that we have a bunch of real guns in the hands of real people who are committing real violent acts. And looking at the way things are going, it doesn't look like anything's going to get done. Not even background checks. And the only reason that people are against background checks is they want to sell guns to criminals. And the only reason why people are against keeping track of guns is because they want to sell guns to criminals and drug cartels and people like that. But that gun show loophole, that's probably not going to be closed. And universal background checks, we might get something done on that, but it'll probably have so many holes in it that it won't matter. And like I said, the only reason for having those loopholes is because you want to sell guns to criminals and people who shouldn't be allowed to have them. Let's face it, there are tons of NRA members who are making a nice chunk of change going to gun shows and then selling those guns to whoever is in the parking lot. And there's a lot of unsavory characters in those parking lots. Now, we could make it so that the most violent video game would be Angry Birds. And our movie channels and theaters could only show Snow White and Bambi, and that wouldn't change shit. Our problem isn't fantasy people with fantasy guns. It's real people with real guns. Thanks for listening.